Hello and welcome! My name is Nyckelhypa and I am here to bring you some mind-blowing pieces of video game trivia, also known as facts. Let's go! Mind-blowing fact number 1. When the side-scrolling action puzzle game Trine released in 2009, it blew many gamers away with its fun gameplay and awe-inspiring graphical design. But did you know how developers Frozen Byte came up with the title Trine? Well, according to our sources, the name Trine is an abbreviation of the phrase "Try not to die on the first level, you absolute noob." Mind-blowing fact number 2. In the 1999 role-playing game Final Fantasy VIII from Squaresoft, there's a moment where the side character Zell asks to borrow a ring from the protagonist, Squall. Squall agrees and gives him the ring. But notice that when he's removing the ring, he's still wearing his gloves as if he wore the ring on top of the glove. This may seem like an egregious error by the game developers, but it is not so. It is in fact a reference to the 1971 folk song Gloves and Rings by the Swedish folk duo Loretta and Henry Jameson.
Gloves and rings, gloves and rings, gloves and rings on an emo dude.
According to our sources, an assistant of Final Fantasy VIII's character designer Tetsuya Nomura once heard him say, "I was definitely inspired by Gloves and Rings when originally coming up with the design for Squall Leonhardt. It may be my favorite song of all time. I especially love the part where they sing about gloves and rings." Mind-blowing fact number 3. In the 2021 co-op zombie shooter game World War Z Aftermath, when a team member gets shot, they may yell out, "Don't shoot me, shoot them." This may seem like an odd thing to say after being hit by a bullet, a crossbow bolt, or a grenade from an anti-tank rocket-propelled grenade launcher. However, it's actually based on a real-life event. According to our well-placed sources, when one of the game's lead designers was a teenager and went duck hunting with his best friend, an incident occurred where he confused his friend for a duck and fired his gun at him. According to our sources, after the friend got hit for the 7th time, he started laughing and said, "Don't shoot me, shoot them." Mind-blowing fact number 4. The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim is one of the most celebrated and beloved games of all time. The fact remains, however, that many gamers still don't quite grasp the philosophical depth of Skyrim's writing and world building. For example, when you exit the Hall of the Dead in Whiterun, make your way down to the marketplace and then walk up to this bush and start hacking at it with 2 different axes, absolutely nothing happens. This is a reference to the proverbial saying, "There's no sense beating around the bush." Mind-blowing fact number 5. And now for a major spoiler warning. If you have yet to play the original Final Fantasy VII, then skip to the next fact to avoid spoilers. In the legendary scene where Sephiroth descends from the sky to kill Aerith, he is initially not wearing gloves. However, once he lands his deadly strike, he is wearing gloves. At first glance, this may seem like a most dreadful oversight by the game developers, but it is not. It is actually a reference to the song "The Gloves Are Back" by the same Loretta and Henry Jameson, who by the mid-90s had moved on from folk music to alternative rock and metal.
The gloves are back, but the rings are not back at all. The gloves are back, but the rings are not back at all. Not back at all.
Mind-blowing fact number 6. The legendary and beloved Yes franchise saw its first game released in June 1987 and has been going strong ever since. But did you know that the original release date for the first Yes had to be delayed by 13 months? The reason for this, according to our extremely well-placed sources, was that the people in charge had no choice but to fire the entire original creative staff, because they would not stop yelling, "Oh yes, we're working on yes," every 5 minutes. This enthusiasm, while at first seen as endearing, became too much to tolerate for the powers that be eventually. Mind-blowing fact number 7. And now for a truly crazy, unbelievable piece of trivia. In 2015, 3 friends from Canada managed to earn over $200,000 on Kickstarter to start a game developing company focused entirely on parody games. Unfortunately, no games were ever released. Their first two planned games, Need for Weed, Pot Pursuit, and The Legend of Hilda, link in the comments, were nearing the post-production phase when all three founding friends were tragically killed in a duck hunting accident. Mind-blowing fact number 8. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt is almost universally considered one of the greatest games ever made. But did you ever wonder how the developers came up with a name as epic as Geralt of Rivia? Well, after some digging through the annals of history, it came to light that Geralt of Rivia was loosely based on a 14th century Spanish con man named Gerard of Trivia, who became infamous for his attempts to impress the common folk and even nobles with made-up facts. Imagine fabricating trivia just to get attention and validation. That's amazing. That's it. That's all the facts for this video. If you liked what you saw and heard, please consider subscribing, liking, and sharing this video with your gamer friends. See you in the next one.
Gloves and rings. Gloves and rings. Gloves and rings on an emo dude. Gloves and rings. Gloves